Hi everyone. So in this video we are going to deal about carotid triangle. So about carotid triangle to talk, we are going to deal about the anterior triangles of neck. As we know already, you have got in neck many important structures. So to deal about all these structures in detail, we are dividing that into two triangles by means of a muscle called sternocleidomastoid. So in front of this sternocleidomastoid, we have got a region. We will call that as anterior triangle, and behind that we have got another triangular region. We will call that as posterior triangle. So now we are going to deal about anterior triangle. In that anterior triangle, we have got many subdivisions. Among that, one important triangle which we got is carotid triangle. So to summarize the before classes, we have got anterior triangle with 3.5 triangle in it. So among that we have discussed about digastric triangle in detail. Now in this video we are going to learn about carotid triangle. So we are going to deal about the carotid triangle in detail in this video. So now to talk about this triangle, first we will see what are the bony remarks we are going to take here. So here if you are talking about a triangle, we have to talk about two important things about it. One is about the boundaries of this triangle. Another one is contents about this triangle. So about boundaries and the content are the very important things which we are going to deal here. So first, to talk about the boundaries, we should know what are the bony remarks seen in that particular region which is giving attachment for this boundaries muscle. So to deal about it, first midline structures we are taking. First in the upper part we have got mandible. So this is the body of the mandible. So body of mandible. So we are seeing one side of the neck. Remember that. So this is the lower border of mandible. Just below the lower border of mandible we have got a bone called hyoid bone. So this is hyoid bone. Just below the hyoid bone we have got another cartilage, that is thyroid cartilage. So this is thyroid cartilage. And just below that we have got cricoid cartilage. This is cricoid one, which is having its articulation with the thyroid cartilage. And below that we have got tracheal rings. And just below the tracheal ring we have got part of the sternum. So this is the manubrium of sternum. And here we have got our clavicle. So this is how we have got our midline structure. Along with that we have covered the clavicle region which is in the lower part of the neck. Along with that, in the body of the mandible, on the same level, little above, we have got base of the skull with one important feature, that is mastoid process. So this is the mastoid process we have got. So by keeping all these things in mind, we can make out this triangle clearly. That is, as we already know, anterior triangle is divided by means of two smaller muscles. So before that we have got the posterior and anterior triangle itself is got divided by a important muscle, that is sternocleidomastoid. Sternum, and this is the clavicle. So between the sternum and clavicle we have got a muscle taking its origin and getting inserted into mastoid process. That's why it is called as sternocleido, means clavicle, inserted into mastoid process. So it is taking its origin from the upper part of sternum and also from the clavicle. So and also from the clavicle. From both the things it is taking its origin, and then it is going to move upwards. So here it is going to move upwards and then it is going to join with the mastoid process. So this is the important muscle which we are dealing in neck region, which is dividing the anterior and posterior triangle of neck. So this is the sternocleidomastoid. So this is the muscle which is going to form the major demarcation in the neck region, which will divide behind into posterior triangle, anterior to it into anterior triangle. Now we are dealing only about the carotid triangle. So about carotid triangle to deal, we have got some more boundaries which is forming that exact carotid triangle. So for that we have got one more muscle which is coming from the mastoid process to the hyoid bone, and that is posterior belly of digastric. So one more muscle which is getting into hyoid bone, that is, so this is the muscle and this is posterior belly of digastric. So this is posterior belly of digastric. Okay. So always remember, along with this posterior belly of digastric, one more muscle also will be seen accompanying it, which is again taking its origin from the posterior aspect of mastoid process, that is mastoid notch, same like posterior belly of digastric, that is the stylohyoid muscle. So this is stylohyoid muscle from the styloid process to the hyoid bone. So here we have got stylohyoid muscle. So we have got stylohyoid muscle and posterior belly of digastric in the upper aspect. Same way from the posterior triangle, this will be the posterior triangle. From the posterior triangle we are getting one more muscle coming towards the anterior triangle. That is, from here, from the posterior aspect we have got a muscle, that is inferior belly of omohyoid, which is going behind the sternocleidomastoid, where we have got common tendon, and from there again we have got one more muscle carried out, and that muscle is nothing but anterior belly of omohyoid. So here we have got one more muscle, that is anterior belly of omohyoid. So this is the muscle which we are dealing. This is anterior belly of superior belly of omohyoid. Okay, so these are the two important muscles which is going to give this triangular region. Here you can make out the proper triangle region. So this is the triangle which we are dealing now. Okay, so this is the triangular region which we are dealing now. So this is the carotid triangle. So boundaries, I think you can make out now. This is carotid triangle. So boundaries we can make out now, that is antero-superior. So this is antero-superior boundary. This is the anterior aspect, this is posterior aspect. In the antero-superior aspect we have got two muscles contributing, that is posterior belly of digastric and stylohyoid muscle, and the anterior-inferior aspect we have got one more muscle, that is again superior belly of omohyoid. Same way, if you are taking posterior boundary, in the posterior aspect it is bounded by anterior border of sternocleidomastoid. This is the anterior border, this is posterior border. So anterior border of sternocleidomastoid forming the posterior boundary for carotid triangle. Antero-superior boundary, antero-inferior boundary, and the posterior boundary, which is going to form a triangle, that is carotid triangle. Now we have got some more structures, such as we have got roof and floor. So to talk about the roof, as we know, we have got skin, superficial fascia, and then we have got part of the platysma seen. Along with that we have got deep fascia, that is again transversing all cutaneous nerves will be seen over here. And then we have got contents. After that we have got floor of the carotid triangle present. So to talk about the floor of carotid triangle, so we are going to see about the floor of carotid triangle. So we have got four muscles which are going to contribute for the floor of carotid triangle. So carotid triangle, you know, we have got our, again we have got our mandible, hyoid bone, then we have got our thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and the tracheal rings. Okay, and the tracheal rings are seen, and here we have got our mastoid process. And as you know, we have got our sternocleidomastoid coming over here, and then we have got our superior belly of omohyoid, and here we have got our posterior belly of digastric and stylohyoid muscle. Now we have got this region. In this floor we are dealing now. So talk about the floor of the carotid triangle. So about floor we are dealing. Floor is contributed by four muscles. So in the floor of carotid triangle we have got four muscles. One among that is constrictor muscles. So we have got pharynx, that is a tube which is seen in the mouth, which is connecting the abdomen region with the head and neck part. So this pharyngeal tube is again having some muscles. Among that, one is constrictor muscles, which are 3 in number: superior, middle and inferior constrictor. Among that, the two constrictors such as inferior constrictor and the middle constrictor will be seen over here. So the inferior constrictor will be going towards the thyroid cartilage. So this is the inferior constrictor muscle we have got. So the one floor muscle which is contributing for the carotid triangle is inferior constrictor of pharynx. Okay, and then the next muscle which we have is again middle constrictor. So this is the middle constrictor which we have. So this whole thing. So this whole thing is middle constrictor of pharynx. Middle constrictor of pharynx. So we have got two muscles. So among four, two are contributed by constrictor muscles of pharynx. One is inferior constrictor of pharynx, another one is middle constrictor of pharynx. Along with that, two more muscles are going to contribute. One is thyrohyoid. From the thyroid cartilage, we have got a muscle arising towards the lower border of hyoid bone, and this is thyrohyoid muscle. Okay, and then one more muscle which is going from the upper part of hyoid bone to the tongue, and that muscle is called as hyoglossus muscle. So part of the hyoglossus muscle. So altogether we have got four muscles. These are the four muscles which are going to contribute for the floor of carotid triangle. And I will repeat again. One is inferior constrictor of pharynx, first one, and then we have got middle constrictor of pharynx. You can make out inside the triangle, these all four are seen. And the third one is thyrohyoid muscle, and the fourth one is hyoglossus muscle. So these are the four muscles which are going to contribute for the floor of carotid triangle. Now